KJ5KLL, reaching out to any remaining survivors. This is Luke. You know me. You like me very much. I live in an RV in the desert, on the southern border of the United States. People often ask me, what is it that I do out here in this RV, in the desert, on the southern border of the United States? Well, this is what I do. What am I doing out here? I don't know what I'm doing out here. I'm just going about my life day by day, making sure that I'm in proximity to the Milky Way and that people don't bother me. That's all I'm doing, and it's working out just fine. Thank you for asking. A lot of you I haven't talked to in a long time, many years, so I figured it's about time I do a little catch-up video. Keeping a majestic beard like this, it takes a little bit of effort. So I don't just wake up with this glorious mane on my face. I have to go through certain steps in order to make that happen in a way that doesn't look horrific. So these are some of the steps. It takes some products, it takes a hair dryer, and it takes a few different types of combs. The beard is meant to protect the face from the harsh elements, the sandstorms and the snow and the icy rain. It's not meant to cover over the lips. So the beard is not to protect the lips, it's to protect the face. Therefore, every once in a while, I have to trim my mustache, because it'll grow down into my mouth and be very uncomfortable. I lather up the beard with an appropriate beard wash, not shampoo, not regular soap, a beard wash. And it takes out all the extra oil that I put in there, and it doesn't have, I don't even know why I use beard wash instead of regular shampoo. Just do. The hair dryer is another device that I was not accustomed to. Using the hair dryer, my understanding is it heats up the actual hairs on your face and turns them into like a liquid, glassy, kind of pliable material. And then when you comb through it, it cools down and locks into place. That's why they have that little cold shot button on a hair dryer. I didn't know that. Now that I do, it's made my beard a lot nicer. Until recently, I didn't know about the round brush. I mean, I'd seen them before, but I didn't know what they were for. This is what they're for. They straighten out wiry, curly hair. I never knew. In the end, my beard feels luxurious. It's nice and soft, it smells good at all times, and it's a great thing to have on my face. I like my coffee. I get mine from happymug.com. This isn't a sponsored video. They don't know me or anything about me. It's just where I get my coffee from. You can tell me in the comments how terrible they are and how they're horrible people that beat Juan Valdez and keep him shackled to his trusty mule in the harsh desert sun of the Peru. I don't care. First, we're going to start with some fresh water in this little electric kettle that I got from Walmart. And it works great. While the water's heating up, I'm going to grab my sweet little coffee grinder. This is the 1Z Presso something or other. This is the best coffee grinder that I could find. I've tried several different coffee grinders, electric ones, and the cheap bladed ones. But this uses conical burrs, and that just sounds cool. Plus, it's very satisfying to do this little turny bit. When the coffee's all ground up, smelling good, we prep up the AeroPress. A fun fact about the AeroPress, this was designed by one of the lead engineers of the Frisbee. That's right, the Frisbee. I'll tap some coffee into here, and we'll even it all out, give it a little swisheroony. Swish, swish, swish. And then here comes the water. We just pour the water right on the coffee in the AeroPress, and it starts the brewing process. And now we place the plunger back on, and Okay, the coffee's brewed. It's time to press it down into the cup. Here we go, giving it the squeezy. And look at that. A nice, hot, fresh cup of joe. Ready for my consumption. And not quite. That's better. Delightful. What do I do for money? I don't really need a lot of money. I don't have much for bills. Most of my stuff is paid off. I live in this lease for 99 years that's paid for. You know, I really don't have a lot of expenses except for gear and toys and dog treats and normal, you know, household stuff. So I have a company. It's called MacNeil Media Group. I consider myself a creative mercenary. I have a certain set of skills. I do photo and video and motion graphics. I make flyers and PowerPoints and billboards and packaging. I do websites and utilities for companies to solve business problems. You know, I really just use whatever skills I have to provide a service to whoever needs it. For money, of course. I'm trying to eat healthy. And part of eating healthy is eating lots of eggs. Eggs are the perfect food. It's easy to buy a ton of them. They cook really fast, and they're mostly pretty good for you. Let's fire this bitch up. I got this cheap little griddle that I stick over the camper stove, and I use that to make all sorts of things, but mostly eggs. Give it a little spray down, a little spritzer, and you can't make an omelet without cracking a couple of eggs. Or so I've heard. Those are some good looking eggs. This one's your brain. There it is. Look at that. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to put my eggs on toast. Except I don't use real toast. I use this imitation sprouted grain Ezekiel bread, because ChatGPT told me that was a better option if I was trying to keep my health in order. But I found it's pretty good when I just put a bunch of over easy eggs on top of it and then smash all the yolk down into the bread-like consistent material. It does the job. It hits the spot. Oh yeah. Tuesday's poker night, and traditionally on poker night, I like to smoke a pipe. So I've got one all loaded up here. This is my very first pipe. I got this in Montana at Smokey's, I think it was called Smokey's Smoke Shop in Billings. I didn't know what I was looking for. I just asked the guy at the store, give me a good beginner pipe, and this is what he got me. And it's been a great pipe. Now I have several pipes, because that's just the way I am. But this was the one that started it all. When I was in my 20s, I started going to this local cigar bar, and I got really into smoking cigars. And I saw the old men smoking the pipes, but it looked like they were always struggling. They always had the little tamper thing, and they're tamping down, they can't keep it lit, and it just looked like too much stuff to carry around. So I didn't get into it. But after I left Utah, where I'd been for a couple of years, I decided I needed a new gentlemanly pastime. So I found myself a smoke shop, and I bought myself a pipe, and I took up the fine art of pipe smoking, and it's been wonderful. I really enjoy collecting these tobaccos and trying to pick out different notes and flavors from them. I find it super relaxing, and I just like to smoke, so if I could smoke anything for 45 minutes, I'm on it. You know, I'm very good at entertaining myself with projects and things that I'm learning or doing creatively. So I've always got something that I'm cooking up that maybe gets shown to people, maybe it doesn't, but the point is I'm always making something. After a while it got pretty lonely, so I got a dog. And this is my adventure buddy, Elvis. He's nothing but a hound dog. I brought Elvis to Memphis. I brought Elvis to Vegas. I got to take a shower with the king. He didn't like that so much, but you know, whatever. It's been great. Elvis has been my best friend, and we do everything together. When I first picked up Elvis, I brought him home the first night, and he just ran off. And I chased him, and I looked for him for most of that night until I really couldn't anymore. And I thought he was gone. I thought this dog was halfway to Mexico. But then there were sightings of him, and I went out and I looked for him again for another day. And eventually, I noticed on my security camera, every couple hours he'd come right up to the door and just sit there and wait for me to open it. And then when I finally did open it, he ran off again, and we went through this for a while until I finally caught him, and now he doesn't run away anymore. Now he doesn't leave my side, and it's awesome to have a friend like that. Exercise is very important. I don't get a lot of that sitting at my computer desk most days. And I realized I'm nearing 43. I don't have health insurance, and I can't live off of truck stop cheeseburgers and pizza for much longer without having to deal with the consequences of that. So trying to get into shape. And one of the ways that I found to do that is with these resistance bands. So I can do a full exercise routine with these rubber bands in the rig, and they don't take up any space. I can throw them in a bag when I'm done and get my whole full body routine in. The hardest part is getting off these power gloves. They're so bad. I try to close my rings every day on the Apple Watch. It makes me stand up for 8 hours and move for 500 calories and do 30 minutes of exercise. So I mix that up sometimes. It doesn't take me a full 30 minutes to do resistance band training. So I like to throw in a little bit of boxing in virtual reality. Yeah, that's right. VR boxing. I bet you didn't know I was an athlete. You don't want to mess with me. I can do this all day. It's actually much more immersive than this. But since YouTube won't let me use the licensed music from FedXR, I had to replace it with this crap. That's just the way it goes, I suppose. VR's been a great addition to my life. It really expands what I can do in such a small space.
This is very possibly the craziest thing that I've ever seen.
In VR, I can have 7 giant monitors all around me while I'm sitting on the moon. And I can do fitness, cardio, boxing workouts here in this rig in a 2-foot by 2-foot area. And it's effective. It's also way more fun than going to a gym or actually doing work. Those things sound horrible. What am I doing out here in the desert?